Howdy y'all, and good evening. We are finally done with our first ever Fellowship of the Brass Ring Fantasy League competition, and it was exciting. I'm kind of pissed that the matches were out of order from what I was told and what I said in my video yesterday, but that's okay, we'll move on. Cutting right to it, pay-per-view was good. Overall, I think it did more for our fantasy league than it did for a lot of the wrestlers in the WWE, but that's okay. So cutting right to it, I guess we'll start with the pre-show match. It was the Usos versus Breezango. Like I said in the text thread, these are not going to count towards points unless we need a tiebreaker sort of situation. So Usos versus Breezango, that puts the Executioner versus your general manager, the Big Lendowski, and I came out on top. Breezango won clean. Tyler Breeze pinned Jimmy Uso. So that's something. At least they're giving Breezango wins because that gives me 10 points for a tiebreaker situation. First match of the night was the match I was kind of most looking forward to see who was going to be the to-be-determined partner for Sasha Banks. It turned out to be Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Charlotte and Dana Brooke, which means this was Heart Puncher Ox Saunders and the Executioner versus the Big Lendowski and the Jewel. And so this is the first ever match where we will actually award and lose points. And coming out on top, as I'm sure you guys saw, was Sasha Banks and Bayley, with Sasha Banks tapping out, making Charlotte tap out to the bank statement. Meaning, Heart Puncher Ox Saunders and the Executioner each were awarded 5 points, and your general manager, the Big Lendowski, and the Jewel with -2. Going into the next match was the Wyatt family versus the New Day, the continuation of the New Day Legion, and the final match for the Wyatt family before Braun Strowman goes to Raw and the other two go to SmackDown. This put your general manager, the Big Lendowski, versus Colton Cabana. Final ending of the match, Bray Wyatt wins by pinning Xavier Woods. Clean win, so that gives your general manager, the Big Lendowski, a positive 15 points for that match and gives Colton Cabana a -6. Going forward, the next match was the United States Championship match with Rusev and the Long Island Broski, Zack Ryder, putting Josh Rollins with Rusev and the Big Lendowski with Zack Ryder against each other. This was a championship match, so winning points are worth double. What this means is, with Rusev making Zack Ryder submit to the Accolade, Josh Rollins gets an awesome 20 points to my -5. But that's okay. The night's not over. I will come back. The Nihilists survive. The next match was probably the best match of the night, hands down. It was very emotional, I think, and I was very invested in this match. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, meaning for our thread, Colton Cabana versus the Jewel. Obviously, Sami Zayn won clean, 1-2-3 pin on Kevin Owens, giving the Jewel 10 points, and Colton Cabana another -5 points. The next match, the intense Becky Lynch and Natalya match, putting the Heart Puncher Ox Saunders and the Executioner against each other. This was originally going to be the first match that they listed, but like I said, they went out of order. Natalya won, made Becky Lynch tap out in the sharpshooter. This awarded the Executioner 10 points and gave the Heart Puncher Ox Sounder -5 for that match. This next match was kind of an odd finish. They didn't necessarily say if it was a disqualification or what it was, but I'm going to kind of lump it in that section of DQs, countouts, interference type matches, since there wasn't actually a clean finish. But it was The Miz versus Darren Young, meaning the Jewel versus the Executioner. I'm pretty sure the winner of the match was Darren Young by making The Miz tap out, but since it happened outside of the ring, it doesn't count. We might have to go back and adjust these points. Maybe one of you guys can clarify something that I didn't see. But so just for now, the Executioner gets 5 and the Jewel loses 5. It was kind of a weird match, and I wasn't too thrilled on the ending, especially with Bob Backlund's shirt half on, half off thing. That was kind of weird. The next match was the John Cena, Enzo Amore, and Colin Cassidy match versus AJ Styles and the Club. This is an interesting match. I think everybody got their spots in. But this is Nathanity and the Heart Puncher Rock Saunders versus the Jewel and the Heart Puncher Rock Saunders. Obviously, John Cena pinned AJ Styles clean after the AA off the second rope, giving Nathanity 10 points, and the Heart Puncher Rock Saunders, or I'm sorry, Nathanity 5 points because he just had John Cena, and the Heart Puncher Rock Saunders 10 points because she had both Enzo and Cass. But on the losing side, the Jewel loses 5 points because she had AJ Styles, and loses 2 points, and the Heart Puncher Rock Saunders loses 4. So overall, she won 6 points in that match. After that, we had the highlight reel, which I thought was entertaining. Definitely seemed like they went off the script a little bit there. Maybe they didn't, because who knows. After that, we had the main event. It was the WWE champion Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns in a triple threat match. Since this is a singles competition match, it's not 2-on-1 or 2-on-2. It is same thing, 10 points for the winner and 5 points for the losers. The same it would be if it was 1-on-1. However, it's a title match, so winner gets double. So winner gets 20 points, losers get 5 each. So Dean Ambrose, belonging to your general manager, the Big Lendowski, versus Seth Rollins and Josh Rollins and Roman Reigns and Colton Cabana. Obviously, after a long, hard-fought match, Dean Ambrose comes out on top, bringing the WWE Championship to SmackDown and retaining it for the Nihilists, meaning I got a whopping 20 points out of that match. Your general manager, the Big Lendowski, with an awesome win over Josh Rollins and Colton Cabana, who each lost 5 points for that match. Now, the overall points coming out of Battleground. Obviously, Colton Cabana is still your Fellowship of the Brass Ring World Heavyweight Champion. His competition going into SummerSlam so far stacks up like this. In last place with a negative 16 points is your Fellowship of the Brass Ring World Heavyweight Championship, Colton Cabana. Definitely earning that belt. At least he's a fighting champion. Just wait till he puts it on the line. In next to last place with negative 2 points is the Jewel. After that, with 5 points, it is Nathanity. Right next to him with 6 points is Heart Puncher Ox Saunders. Third place in the thread with 15 points is Josh Rollins. Second place with an impressive 20 points is the Mexicutioner. And finally, in first place with an impressive 28 points is your general manager, the Big Lendowski. Like I said in my video yesterday, I will be leaving Reno with the Fellowship of the Brass Ring World Heavyweight Champion. That is my title. Ben, don't let it get too comfortable around your waist. It's coming home with me. Well, other than that, I have nothing else to say. It was an exciting first competition for the Fantasy League. I'm excited to see what happened on Raw and SmackDown and NXT, where people end up with more points. But as your strict but fair general manager, leader of the Nihilists, and future Fellowship of the Brass Ring World Heavyweight Champion, I bid you adieu.